In the recent conflict between Iran and Israel, everyone is talking about Strait of Hormuz. People saw a surge in the prices of crude oil as the issue escalated. Let's try to understand the Strait of Hormuz and its importance. First question is, what is strait? It's a narrow passage of water between two large water bodies. Strait of Hormuz is a strait between the Persian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman, and the only sea passage from the Persian Gulf to the open ocean. It is one of the most important choke points, a narrow waterway from which about 20% of the global crude oil flows. Remember this figure of 20%. I will let you know something interesting by the end of this video. Another question is, what is a choke point? From military point of view, a choke point is a small area which control access to a large area. Another examples of sea choke points are Strait of Malacca, Suez Canal and Panama Canal. If someone blocks the Strait of Hormuz, it will affect the sea trade of all the countries bordering the Persian Gulf, as it is the only main export route of oil-producing countries like Saudi Arabia, Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, Qatar and UAE. The US Navy's 5th Fleet, based in Bahrain, helps to ensure the freedom of navigation through the strait. On the north coast lies Iran and the south coast lies the Musandam Peninsula, an exclave of Oman. Next question is, what is exclave? An exclave is a part of country that is geographically separated and surrounded by a foreign land. This peninsula is separated by UAE from the mainland Oman. Comes to the Strait of Hormuz again. Width varying from about 97 kilometers to 39 kilometers, it is just 33 kilometers wide at its narrowest. As of June 2025, Strait of Hormuz has never been closed during any Middle East conflict. To reduce the risk of collision, ships moving through the Strait of Hormuz follows a traffic separation scheme. Inbound ships use one lane while outbound ships using another, and each lane being 2 miles wide. The strait handles about 18 to 19 million barrels per day, nearly about 20% of global oil consumption. On 14th June 2025, Iran reportedly issued a threat to block the strait in response to Israeli attacks targeting its military and nuclear infrastructure. The potential closure of the strait would significantly disrupt the global energy market. According to the Forbes analyst, the Iran-Israel conflict and potential closure of the strait push oil prices well beyond the recent spike of 17 to 40%, possibly exceeding $100 to $150 per barrel, which is presently under $70. But why everyone is so concerned about this strait? Isn't there any alternative way to bring the oil out of the Gulf area? Is there any permanent way to mitigate the risk of choking of this strait in the future? Let's try to figure out some alternatives. First is the Saudi Arabia East-West pipeline. It moves oil from Persian Gulf to the Red Sea port of Yanbu, and its capacity is 7 million barrels per day. It bypasses both Strait of Hormuz and Bab al-Mandeb. Oil from this pipeline can directly be exported to the Europe through the Suez Canal. Second is the UAE's Habshan-Fujairah pipeline. It is also known as Abu Dhabi crude oil pipeline and is a strategic energy project in the United Arab Emirates designed to bypass Strait of Hormuz. It moves oil from Habshan to Fujairah, an onshore place on the Gulf of Oman, and its capacity is 1.5 million barrels per day, and which can also be expanded up to 1.8 barrels. It saves tankers about 2 days of sailing time and about $38,000 per shipment. UAE is also building world's largest crude oil storage facility in Fujairah, with capacity of holding 14 million barrels. It will also help Fujairah to develop as a world oil and trading hub. And do you know one more interesting thing? Iran itself has developed a pipeline to bypass the Strait of Hormuz and give it access to the Gulf of Oman. It is called Gorejesk pipeline. Next is the Kirkuk-Saihan pipeline. I hope I am pronouncing it right. And another pipeline linking Iraq and Turkey up to Mediterranean with capacity of 1 million barrels per day. Too much information. Let's organize this into a more understandable way. Total export from the Middle East 30 to 32 million barrels per day. Out of this, about 20 million barrels per day flows through the Strait of Hormuz. Now come to the pipelines. Total maximum capacity of all the pipelines bypassing the strait is 8.5 to 10 million barrels per day. But this is the maximum capacity. Their actual operational usage is significantly low, which is about 2.5 or 3 million barrels per day. Actually, countries like UAE, Saudi Arabia and Iran treats these pipelines as a crisis infrastructure designed to activate during conflicts, and rest of the oil is for domestic refining and consumption. Even if we revive all the pipelines to their maximum theoretical capacity from 3 million to 10 million barrels per day, we still couldn't match the sheer volume that passes through the Strait of Hormuz on daily basis. We would be around 10 to 12 million barrels per day short of replacing the Strait of Hormuz. So, the short answer of today's discussion is currently there is no substitute of the Strait of Hormuz. Now come to the last part of today's discussion. Suppose if by any chance someone choked the Strait of Hormuz, what would be the consequences? In countries like India, a prolonged disruption could widen the trade deficit up to $12 billion. China, Japan and South Korea, the countries that account for about 70% of the trade flows from the Strait of Hormuz, would face energy crisis and higher electricity cost. Europe would lose access to Qatari CNG and Iraqi crude, triggering gas shortage and winter heating risks. It would trigger global energy crisis and spark recessions like risk in oil-dependent countries. Governments would have to subsidize the prices of gas and oil, and it will strain their budgets. I hope you are now better positioned to understand the importance of Strait of Hormuz in the global energy market. See you in the next video. Bye bye.